Hey y'all, I'm Deidra, and this is going to be my February reading plans. So I have a very ambitious TBR. I am calling it a TBR because I was already planning to read most of these. I'm going to be participating in the Missy Elliott Readathon. I'll give you more details in just a second, but I'm going to be participating in that one. That TBR has the longest list of books that I wasn't originally planning to read, but I worked it in. We're gonna razzle dazzle, and let me start off with everything but that first and then close it on a bang. Bree mentioned that we were going to be reading this together, and I had recently borrowed it from the library, and that is Library Wars Volume 1. I'm not even sure what this is about, to be honest, and this will be the second time I've tried to read it. First time I tried to read it digitally with an ebook borrowed from the library, and for whatever reason I never got around to it, so we're going to try it again. I don't think it was anything to do with the book. I think it was more to do with me and my mood. So this is the first book. The second book on my reading plan list is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I intend to participate in the read-along that Erica from The Broken Spine is hosting. The first book in the series is going to be discussed on February 27th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Erica's channel. There are a few co-hosts for this read-along, but I know that I'm one of them, and I don't remember everybody else. I'm such a bad co-host. But I'll put a picture of everybody on the screen and any times that have already been announced, as well as Erica's announcement video in the cards and in the description box below. The next thing on my plans is The Broken Kingdoms. I am going to be reading that, or I have already started. I'm actually a little further along because I'm doing a hybrid read. I'm doing this in audiobook and then the ebook format I borrowed from the library. I don't feel like I can get everything by only using one method or another. Maybe it's just me. But anyways, I am doing that. I am hybrid reading, or blended read, I've heard people say. So what I'm doing, how I'm doing that is on my commute to work, I listen to about 45 minutes is what it ends up being of the book. And then whenever I have a break or when I'm ready to pick up the book again, instead of continuing to listen to the audiobook, I read the section that I just listened to physically. And that has really been helping me like absorb the story and remember some of the details that I wasn't able to remember from the first time around, or from the first book in the trilogy, because I did I did hybrid read that a bit close to the end, but mostly I only read that with my eyes. And I don't know, I was able to like really it took me longer, but I was able to comprehend it and remember a lot of those parts, which I have a problem with sometimes when I only read via audiobook. So that is the next thing on my list, and that is that is a read-along that is hosted by Chloe over at Thistle and Verse, or created by Chloe at Thistle and Verse, and Shay from Shay with the Hobbies. Sprints every Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern on Shay with the Hobbies channel. I'll put a card for the announcement and a link in the description box. The next book in my plans for February is a book in the Sookie Stackhouse series that me and Bree are hosting a year-long read-along of, and that is Living Dead in Dallas. Book 1 was an experience. Book 2 promises to be just as much of an experience. Child, we'll see. This one was published in 2002. So the next two books that I am going to talk about are books that I'm going to be reading for me and Ashley's Black Love channel. We are planning to relaunch that channel this year and next month. So look out for that. Make sure you go and subscribe and hit that notification bell, because we don't have a set schedule just yet, so we do have 3 videos coming down the pipeline for you guys in February. Just hit that notification bell so you can be notified when we do post them. The 2 books I'm about to talk about are 2 books that are also going on my TBR for the Missy Elliott Readathon. That is After Hours Attraction by Kiana Alexander and Through the Fire by Donna Hill. Now, I don't think I've read this particular book by Donna Hill. I am excited to jump back into her work. It's been a long time since I've last read her anything by her. This came out with Arabesque and BET Books in 2001, and I'll talk about what prompt this fulfills in a second. And this one came out in 2021. Yeah, 2021. I wonder if this is I just noticed that it's copyright by somebody different than the name on here, so I wonder if this is a pen name. Anyways, that's odd. Oh, I didn't get the sticker all the way off. Anyways, if you can guess what the theme of the video, this came out in 2001, this came out in 2021, put it in the comments. There may be something in it for you. All right, now it's time for the best part of this whole video. It is my TBR for the Missy Elliott Readathon. Yay! Okay. The Missy Elliott Readathon was created by Cachet over at Shay with the Hobbies. It is co-hosted by Britt Ryderly and Deidra with Haley's Day. And I am so excited to participate. Let me get right into what I plan on reading for that particular readathon. So there are 7 prompts and 2 group books. If you read the 2 group books, you'll fulfill all 7 prompts. So the 2 group books are You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson and Waiting to Exhale by Terry McMillan. I do have a copy of You Should See Me in a Crown. It was one of my favorite books the year I read it, I think, which would have been 2020. But I'm not certain that I'm wanting to commit to rereading it, so I have put other books in the spot where that would fulfill. But if I get down to like the 15th of February and I'm not able to read some of these books, I'm just gonna knock out the 2 group books. That's my fail safe. I absolutely plan on rereading Waiting to Exhale. I haven't read that in forever, about as long as as it's been since I read Donna Hill. I don't know what year that was published. I want to say it was in the 90s, but I do remember reading it in the dark, under the covers with a flashlight, because I wasn't supposed to, because it was my mama's book and it was way too mature material for me at the time that, or at the age that I was at the time. But I definitely plan to reread it because I remember loving that book and love the movie, obviously. Iconic soundtrack, iconic actors and actresses in that movie, but the book still, it really did give what it was supposed to give. And I want to get back into it, so I plan to reread that for sure. But this book here, After Hours Attraction, is going to fulfill the 2nd prompt, which is 1 Minute Man, I believe, which is a black romance. So that's what I'm doing for this one. And then this one is going to fulfill prompt number 6, which I believe is Somebody's Backlist. No, this is to fulfill the prompt of a book that was written while you were in high school or set in high school. That's what this one is going to fulfill. And the way that it does that, or this was written when I would have been either a junior going into my senior year, or I was a senior in high school when this was published. The 3rd prompt is Work It. This is Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers. If you hadn't heard about what Honey Girl is about, it's basically about this girl who graduates from either grad school or med school or something, and she takes a trip to Vegas, ends up marrying a girl, chaos ensues. I'm not really sure, but part of the synopsis says that it's about how she learns to get to know, or how she learns to deal with her new wife's family and just everything that comes after grad school and stuff like that. So I am excited to get, I meant to read this last year, but here we are. Pet by Akwaeke Emezi is going to fulfill the first prompt. It is Gossip Folks, LGBTQIA plus rep, and I believe that that is true for both the main character and the author of this book. Another book I meant to read last year, but here we are. So for multi-POV, I'm going to use Waiting to Exhale. I was going to try to use a different book. I'm not going to use the other book because it's not by a Black author, and I didn't realize it until after I shot this, and I was bamboozled. Anyways. The 7th prompt, which is Past That Dutch, it is to read a book recommended by a Black person. And since both the hosts of, or all 3 of the hosts of this readathon are Black, the 2 group books count. And so I'm going to use Waiting to Exhale for that one too. I could use You Should See Me in the Crown, but I could really use, I could probably go and find a recommendation for at least these 2 books, if nothing else on my TBR, and use these 2 at least as well for number 7, but we're gonna use Waiting to Exhale for that. So that does it, y'all. That's all my reading plans for February for Black History Month 2022. I hope that I see some of y'all in the comments on different people's announcements. Reading some of these books, I'm very excited to talk about The Poppy War, Living Dead in Dallas, Waiting to Exhale, and The Broken Kingdoms with everybody. But I'm hoping that we'll be reading some of the same books and we can talk about a lot more than just those 4. Happy reading, y'all. Take care of your skin. Bye now.